Good evening, everyone. This is Mayor Sean Patterson Howard, and welcome to our City of Mount Vernon Tuesday update. And tonight we have some special guests joining us. We've been dealing with COVID for the last few weeks, doing our updates and just talking about, we've had guests from people who had been exposed and who worked through it. We've talked about the numbers. We've had health experts to come on and talk about testing. So we know here in the city of Mount Vernon, we opened up our testing center at the Mount Vernon Neighborhood Health Center on Friday, and our first full week began yesterday. And we're getting good numbers and turning out right now over there. So we know that that testing center was needed. They're filling up their numbers each day. So please continue to reach out to the New York State Department of Health if you feel that you're having symptoms, because we have a local testing center, and because we've asked for it for so long, we want to make sure that every day all slots are filled. So right now we're asking that you just please take a moment to share this video. We're asking that you take a moment to share this video, and I'm going to do the same thing here on my end. So just give me a second. We want to make sure that people are having an opportunity to share this video. And tonight, we are still dealing with COVID, but we're dealing with COVID in a different way. We're going to talk about the economic impact of COVID on some of our business community. And tonight, we are joined by several of our business owners, specifically those who own restaurants and catering businesses. We know that they are essential businesses, and many of them are still open, but they're open in a very different way. And we want them to talk about the impact of COVID on the way that they're doing business, what they see as challenges and kind of opening back and coming online, and how we as the community can continue to support them while they are open in this new adjusted way. So give me 1 second and I'm going to share my video, and then we're going to start. Okay, here we go. So I have here today with us Jeremy Sands and Mike Palercio. They own, right now they're operating food trucks. They are located over at 29 Elm Avenue, right across from the Metro Northeast Station. And their business, their establishment was scheduled to open on April 1st, but clearly we're still under the New York State Governor's pause order. And that has been extended until May 15th as of right now. So we are still waiting for next directives, but hopefully their business will be able to get up and go underway. We also have here Mr. Hugh Roy Williams, and Mr. Williams is from Richie Rich, which opened just a few months ago here in Mount Vernon on 5th Avenue. They're right next to the Westchester Community College extension site and across the street from Chase Bank. So on 5th Avenue between 2nd Street and 1st Street, close to the 1st Street.
Yeah.
We also have joining us Tony. He's not pictured, but you see his name there. We have Tony, and Tony is the owner of Maggie Spillane's up in Fleetwood. And you know, Tony's been a business owner here in Mount Vernon, doing a lot for the community, giving back. And he features a nice rooftop restaurant also above Maggie Spillane's. We have Sandra Bryant, and Sandra Bryant is with the Royal Caribbean Bakery on 4th Avenue.
No, it's Golden Crust.
Golden Crust, Golden Crust. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't even know why I said that, and I knew it was Golden Crust. She's with Golden Crust right on 4th Avenue near 2nd Street. So she's over near Gina's Hair Salon and the nail salons. So she's right there on 4th Avenue, closer to 2nd Street. And we also have here Dwayne Brown. And Dwayne Brown has been an entrepreneur in many different ways. He has D&K events, and he has Double Door. And he's also over at Elm on Elm Avenue, right across from the Metro North Station. And Dwayne has been the president of our Chamber of Commerce in the past. He's a longstanding entrepreneur. He does some contract work with the city of Mount Vernon, and he's just involved in so many things. And I have someone else here on the line, but I am not sure Their number ends in 8900. Who's the
That's
last person?
that's my number, but my camera is not working. It's
Your-
Tony from Maggie's.
Oh, okay, Tony,
Yeah.
it's showing you twice. Okay, so
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that we weren't being cyber attacked or anything like
No,
that.
I can visually see. I can visually see. I just can't get my camera going.
Okay, so right now we're gonna kick it off with you, Tony. We're gonna kick it off with you. You've been open for many years, and you're still operating, doing takeout and delivery. Tell us how you're doing in this era of COVID right now, and how business is, and how we can support you.
Well, our business actually has. We found another avenue for revenue, which is the delivery and the pickup, which has been very helpful. But it comes at a cost. Obviously, we stopped our walk-in business.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, as anyone knows, Maggie's Blends, we're a pretty substantial sized restaurant with a rooftop, which we should be now we would be opened for the season right now. April 1st is our opening date. It's difficult right now because we have tremendous amount of people on hold for jobs, waiting. We had to let a lot of people go. Will we get the same people back? I don't know. A lot of these people were students and teachers, and they were all part-timers. And the concept of opening up a restaurant in this environment is very scary for the general public out there, because they don't know who's handling the product. So we're going to be under a lot of restrictions and guidelines. All food industry is going to be under those guidelines. Yes. And it's going to make the profit margins and even paying the rent, a simple thing like that, is going to be very difficult, because we're going to have occupancy levels are going to be reduced, and customer service is going to be a whole new factor. We were brought up in an industry where people were smiling when you meet you at the door. Now you're going to be greeted with a face mask. So it's going to be a big change. But the one thing about, a lot of small businesses, we're pretty quick to climatize to new things. So I'm sure that the other gentlemen that are on, and ladies that are on this, all are going to struggle through the same problems. And I think this, just hang in there. It's going to get better. It can't get any worse than what it is right now. So that's my advice to everyone. Just hold tight.
So one thing that we hear constant updates from the governor, as well as we hear the president speaking about monies available. Money's available to small businesses, and how it's just really easy to apply and get these monies. But as I've spoken to different small business owners, many of them are saying they've put in their applications right when they initially heard about it. The payroll applications. They've also put in for the disaster loan. What has been your experience with that? Have you applied for these? Have you heard back from either disaster loan or from the payroll protection program?
Yes, well, we applied. We actually had our application in on day one, very early in the morning. We submitted it. We were with a small bank, Westchester Bank. They're basically there on Central Avenue. They have a couple of small banks in the neighbourhood. They were allocated, according to the branch, 75 million to loan out to small businesses. Okay. Originally, when I got a phone call from, they told me that I was not on the original list. But I think everybody got that phone call, because Wells Fargo also sent out the same contact. They had 10 billion and they disappeared over 2 nights. So after a little bit of dialogue with the branch manager, he was able to allocate me some funds. I haven't received them yet, and we're still on a waiting, but we were told that we were approved. We got a loan number, and we're just waiting on the date that it's issued.
Okay, so there's a little comfort in that, unless at least you got in and you've heard something. Have they sent an award letter or anything of that, a guarantee letter?
What you get is a loan, an email with a loan number on it first, and then they send you out a blank document with no details on it, just basically to review. They doesn't tell you the loan amount. And then I got a follow-up phone call 2 days later from the vice president of the bank, who told me the amount that we were eligible for. You don't get the amount you're looking for. Well, I didn't anyway. I think you're lucky to get about 85% of the total amount you're asking for. The one frustrating part of this loan that I'm going to run into, and I'm sure everybody's going to run into, is that you're required to spend it immediately within 7 days of receiving it.
Wow.
The problem is, well, you start spending it. So the problem lies is that if you're not open for business, how are you going to bring all these people back? You have nobody to service. So you're just taking, it's in one sense, it doesn't allow you to recover, because all you're doing is prolonging the pain, because in 6 weeks or 8 weeks time, if our restaurant or government is not open for business, we're going to be back in the same position. That's the unfortunate thing about it, because you have to use these funds within a short period of time. You have 25% is for rent, utilities, and other small expenses, and 75% goes towards your payroll. If you're not open for business, it's very hard to apply that 75%.
And as well as if we are still under pause, you're not going to have the same number of people in, because you don't need wait staff. You need people to deliver, unless you're doing something with Uber or another delivery service, and your cooks and maybe one hostess who is just helping, and a cashier. So yeah, like you said, if things don't change, it's going to be challenging even to spend that money quickly.
Which then it turns into a loan, so it's not forgiven.
If you're not able to spend it?
If you're not able to spend it, then the balance that's left is turns into an official SBA loan, and it's unforgiven. It's that section of that loan is not forgiven. It is a cheap investment because it's a 1% interest rate on it, but you still have to pay back the difference.
Okay. So
that's the flaw in the arrangement. But if we can get open on May 15th, hopefully before that, we should be okay. I think the second batch of loan, the new loan that came out today, I think whoever receives that should be okay, because the time frame will work better for them.
Okay. All righty. So we're going to thank you so much, Tony. Don't leave us. We want you to stay on, because we want to have a dynamic conversation. We're going to jump down right now to Miss Sandra Bryant from Golden Crust. So Sandra, you've heard our conversation thus far. Can you tell us how Golden Crust is making it through these COVID times and the change in operations?
Well, good evening.
Good evening.
We cut the hours that we're open for, because the morning customers, we don't have them anymore.
Okay.
And we are closed on Sundays. Less people comes in the store, but they purchase more some of the times. So that is a help to us, and we are grateful for them coming into the store to support us. We are trying to be the best person we can be to them, because, as you know, most of them have a lot of problems that they're dealing with, and we have to be understandable to take care of them. We try to give them masks when they come in the store without sanitizers. We put up sneeze guards. We have to use more gloves. So it's kind of harder for us to operate the restaurant. Most of the goods, the prices increases at the restaurant depot. You have to be traveling to different places, but we are trying to cope with whatever we have to cope with, knowing that other businesses are out of business. So we are happy to know that we are open, and we are here to help citizens in Mount Vernon. One of the things we are trying to do, anyone that without breakfast in the morning, going to work, they could stop by and we'll give them breakfast. We started already, but a lot of people don't know about it. All they have to do, come in, ask for Sandra or Kenneth, and they'll get free breakfast, as long as they're on their way to work.
So what hours are you doing that, Sandra? From what hours? So I guess this is kind of for essential workers. So if essential workers need breakfast,
Yes.
What hours are they able to come in?
From 7 to 9.
Okay.
We are here from 7 in the morning. So we start serving breakfast at 8 o'clock. So
Okay.
if essential worker is going to work and they can't afford a breakfast, we're willing to give them the breakfast because we know it's hard on them. They have to take, sometimes they used to take the bus. Now they have to take private transportation to get to work. So we're trying to help in any way we can.
You know, this is incredible. There's nothing like a crisis to bring community together. And people, you know, have said, well, I said so much has been negative about COVID, but one of the things that's been positive is that people who haven't spoken and people who have not collaborated are collaborating, and people are finding innovative ways to do business during this time. So there's going to be a lot of lessons learned. There's going to be relationships built during this time. There's going to be best practices developed. So, you know, while this has been terrible, and it has been hard on everyone, whether you're government, private business, entrepreneurs, healthcare, someone who's been exposed or been sick or lost someone. It's been hard on everyone. But if we don't learn some lessons in this process, then we're going to miss out on good information to go forward in our future. So one of the things that I've seen lots of people coming into different restaurants and buying lots of meals or ordering meals for delivery to essential workers, to first responders, to healthcare agencies. Just today, I was involved with Priscilla Etchie, who's one of our residents here in Mount Vernon, said she had a desire to do something for the hospital yesterday, and she worked with Domino's. She went in and placed an order for maybe 15 pies and asked them to match her. And what they decided to do is they said, we're not just going to match you, but we're going to donate the 30 pies. And yesterday we went over to Mount Vernon Hospital and delivered, and we did the same thing today at the Neighborhood Health Center. I know that Maggie's has helped out in the community. I know that Richie Rich has donated and given money to our essential workers, to our first responders. Lincoln Lounge, so many different businesses in Mount Vernon, Gina Marie, Joe's Pizza. There are so many different, and I don't want to keep naming because I'm going to miss someone, but there are so many businesses here in our community that while you're being hard hit, while you're dealing with decreased revenues and financial challenges of your own, that you've still found a way to be philanthropic and to be caring and compassionate. You know, the Alamo, I haven't really seen them open for regular business, but they opened for a few days just so that they could deliver meals to essential workers in the community. So this has been a trying time, but it's been an incredible time just to see community come together and work and support one another. So I see Mr. Hugh Roy. He is walking through the business. I don't even know if he hears me right now. So Hugh Roy, Mr. Williams, can you
Yes,
talk?
ma'am.
Can you talk
I'm
to
on.
guys? Yes.
Hi.
And
How
Rich
you doing?
himself. Hi guys. How are you
Hi.
doing? Thank you.
Wonderful.
So you're up now. You know, tell us. You are also one of the newer businesses that's open in Mount Vernon. I think this is your what, eighth restaurant in the region, or seventh?
Yes.
Eighth.
Eight. Eight.
So this is your eighth restaurant in the region. You had your ribbon cutting just a few months ago. I've been there for a few events that you had. You had the Jamaican consulate there, the GC, um, the General Consulate. You've had a few really great things there, and business was booming, and then COVID. So you
Yeah.
were up and you were running, and then you got hit with this challenge and this crisis. So tell us, how are you doing? You know, how are you faring? Have you applied for any of these loans or disaster relief? How are you making it?
Well, we haven't applied for any loan or this or anything like that as yet, but pretty much our dining, as you know, is completely dead. Catering is completely dead because only for catering for like the hospitals or you know, small units or any things like that. But pretty much it's been rough. But we're actually, you know, we're trying to fight it as
Mhm.
far as keeping most of our workers working, being that we had to cut hours, closing early, opening a little bit later than usual. But so far we've been doing good.
Okay. So, I actually came there because you're around the corner and I have to pass
Yeah.
you on my way home. And I came
Yes.
there one night and I have to say kudos to you because I was really proud to see that you had markers you for
Oh
social
yeah.
distance. You weren't letting a lot of people into the restaurant, even if they
No.
were picking up and ordering for takeout. You had everything marked on the outside, and people were really respecting social distancing. So, what has your experience been operating a business and getting your customers to respect social distancing, especially on a day like today where it might have been rainy and they were all wanted to come inside while they were ordering? How does that work out?
Well, it's difficult at times because we have put up shields, so we can't really hear the customers sometimes. So pretty much the lines are pretty much long for like half the
That's a
day
good
sometimes.
problem to have. Long lines.
Yes, but it's been okay. Customers are happy, and as usual, essential workers, we do take care of them at all times.
I mean, I know, I want to say thank you because with our police department, especially with the midnight shift, we know that
Yes,
you've been doing so much to take care of them. And, it was really interesting. I think the day that we found out the restaurants were going to take out and pick up only,
yes.
I called because I wanted some of that incredible carrot cake, some of the
Okay,
best carrot cake in the region.
thank you.
Selling at your store, and I appreciate that. And you guys made sure that you took care of me, and I'm able to stop there on my way home. I've been able to stop at Maggie's as well as Golden Crust, because it's really our job, it's our duty as residents of Mount Vernon at this time to really patronize our businesses. You might
Thank you.
have restaurants outside of town that you like to use, but this is a time where we have to keep the money in our community. I need water, and that's really
Water
critical.
break.
And that's really critical. So, as you're helping to take care of the community, um, it's important for the community to help take care of our restaurants, even if community members are not. There are some people that say, "Well, I don't eat out; I cook at home." But it's great. Can people come to Golden Crust, to Maggie's, to Richie Rich, and any of these businesses and buy kind of like gift cards or pay for meals that you might use for other people? I've seen other communities where people have gone and purchased gift cards, and that's enabled that business now to give a meal to someone who's less fortunate or homebound and unable to travel. Have any of our business engaged in any of those practices?
That's a good idea, but not as yet. But that's a very good idea.
Yeah, I mean, you just advertise it. We can buy a gift card now for, a meal later or for that meal to be donated to someone else and just help with some of the efforts. I think it's really important for the businesses that are out there giving to the first responders, to the essential workers. It's not that you're doing it to get credit, but if the community knows, then the community can have an opportunity to donate and to support the work that you're doing. And you don't just have to take it on all by yourself. I think that's really, really critical, that our community is aware of that, because there are a lot of people. One of my favorite African proverbs is, when spider webs unite, you could tie up a lion. So oftentimes individually, we don't feel that there's much that we can do to make a difference. But if we know that we can contribute to a cause and that business is helping the community, then that gives people an opportunity to participate and an opportunity to support that effort. So that's definitely something to consider. And I want to make sure that I'm going to come back to everyone, but I want to pull in Jeremy and Mike, because right now you were scheduled to open your inside
Wow.
business on April 1st. You were scheduled to open on April 1st.
Of
And
course.
right across the street from the Mount Vernon Metro Northeast station, we know that's a really, really busy hub here in the city. I met you guys probably back in October, and when Dwayne was doing his ribbon cutting, and you were just so excited about coming to Mount Vernon. Tell us about what you're doing now, how you're doing, and how we can support your efforts.
Sure. So again, my name is Jeremy, for those who weren't here in the beginning. So myself and Mike, we own 29 Elm. We are, well, our plan was as of April 1st to be a breakfast, lunch, dinner, pick up, sit down, take out, delivery, whole 9 yards service directly across the street from the Mount Vernon East train station. Our business had multiple functions. It had a relationship with Dwayne, with the catering hall upstairs. It had a catering aspect. It had a food service for the brand new brewery, Alternative Medicine, that is in the building process in our building as well. And unfortunately, due to this pandemic, our grand opening was put to a stop. So Mike and I sat down right away and tried to figure out what could we do to still serve residents of Mount Vernon. Mike and I both have long-term ties to the city of Mount Vernon, and we wanted to figure out how we can still service those residents, although our main customers would be the ones getting on and off the train all day long, which now is a ghost town in front of our location. So Mike and I, as well as being partners at 29 Elm, also own two popular food trucks in Westchester County. Max Food Truck, which serves some of the best Italian sandwiches and sides that you could get, and Waffle Box, that serves sweet and savory waffles, chicken and waffles, and basically all of your sweet treats to satisfy that sweet tooth of yours. So since we can't open for, since nobody knows of us yet in that area, we figured let's pivot a little bit and offer takeout and pickup from both of our trucks menus from 29 Elm. So you can't tell yet because our menus and our signs are still on order. FedEx and UPS are still backed up, but in a couple of days, you will notice some awesome, vibrant signs outside of 29 Elm Avenue, directly across the street from Mount Vernon East train station, that'll feature menu items from both of our trucks that you can also find on Uber Eats for now. We are working to hire.
You said chicken and waffles too, right?
Chicken and waffles, yes. And they are widely popular that we are buying and supplying and making more chicken than we've almost ever have. Gratefully so. It's keeping a couple of staff members, we're still working. We're having still a hard time paying our rent and utilities. We both have applied for those loans. Have not heard back yet from anything, but we're hoping and praying every day that something may come through. We want to be able to be here for the long term, be able to, it's actually a couple of employees that we have had planned to work there, grew up in the neighborhood. Some have moved a couple blocks away, but some are from right in that corner. And we want to kind of, keep our employees living local, working local, helping out the community. But we also kind of pivoted a couple ways, and I'll let Mike talk about it a little bit, a couple of plans that we have in a new location. But, for the time being, to at least try to get our rent and utilities paid, you could visit our Uber Eats account at Waffle Box Truck or Max Food Truck. Support us. We are giving proceeds back to a couple different fundraising platforms, but that's where we are. That's where you can order some food. You can also knock on our door. We have some menus posted outside as well, but I'll let Mike talk because Mike has some more information about some of our bigger plans that we have at that location.
Thank you,
Mike, I love seeing your smiling face.
That's why I'm partners with him, because he cheers up every room.
Yeah. But Ms. Mayor, some of the things that you were expressing to the community before our ventures that Jeremy and I have had to pivot, as he said before. Normally, we are a food restaurant or a food truck where people can come and get cooked food. We are entertaining, and we've often helped families that are in need, that have gone to supermarkets and just haven't found a lot of the proteins or items that are on their list. So we are open to selling ingredients as well as finished meals,
Wow.
which is something that we hope can help. Because I know I started this business because I love to cook, and all my cooking happened at home in my kitchen, with my mother, with my grandmother, and it was a family thing. And so we want to help to kind of try and maintain that a little bit. There's a lot of smiles and laughter that comes out of a kitchen, and good smells and good food, and that's just as important to us as the meatballs and chicken parms and sausage and pepper that we make, and in the kitchen in Mount Vernon, for you to be able to take some of those ingredients home and have that experience with your kids or your aunts or cousins or whoever's locked up in the home with you at this point. And so we're offering, in addition to our menu items, some of the ingredients that compose of the items that are on our menus. So we're hoping that helps. We've had some of our own issues in the supply chain when it comes to getting these meats and chickens and other ingredients. But we have the luxury of getting a case or 2 cases or 3 cases. And sometimes when you go into your local supermarket, they don't have it. And we have it, and we don't want it to go to waste. And so we're trying to get it out there in as many avenues as we possibly can. As Jeremy touched upon before, we are offering, substantial discounts to anybody that's on the front line, from train conductors to firemen to policemen to first responders driving, ambulances to healthcare workers. The biggest problem that Jeremy and I have run into is we were in the process of building up to getting our name out there, and we never really got the opportunity to put it out there. And we feel like, we are in a corner that's hugely visible if there's people out there.
Right.
And there are no people out there, and that's a very difficult roadblock to overcome. We have some serious limitations with Uber Eats and DoorDash, not having delivery drivers. So if anybody's looking, we have that as a need as well. And we're open for business, and we're trying to do what we love and what we do best, and that's provide really good meals that can nourish and put a smile on some people's faces.
So you just said that you're having a hard time getting drivers through Uber Eats and DoorDash. So are you looking to do something directly? Because you said if anyone's looking, or
Yes.
I mean, and if you are, how would people reach you? Because I have Malcolm, who produces the show, from the background, and he'll put up the name of your business and the phone number if you share it with us.
Of course. So one of the things that we found is, again, we appreciate, we've supported so many local businesses in Mount Vernon in the past, and trust me, there's some of the, I can't tell you how many drinks I've had at Splains, and how many pizzas I've had from Joe's, and et cetera. We appreciate everybody that's here, and we appreciate everything that's going on. And so, everyone's kind of struggling in the delivery industry, because you have to take servers and make them delivery personnel, and you have to take bartenders and make them delivery personnel. And a lot of people try to rely on these online ordering platforms, but the reality is that everyone's ordering right now. And so we are looking for anybody who is interested in, a couple of, maybe some part-time hours to be a delivery driver, maybe kitchen staff. And we are hoping that we can, expand this. So we do have a number. It's 914-265-6240. That number is for our 29 Elm location. And if anybody is interested in being a delivery driver, maybe working in the, fulfilling orders, et cetera, definitely give us a call. We're taking application. We're trying to figure out, the best realm. We're hoping that we can hire a couple of people this week, and, hey, look, reality of it is that if we can keep jobs in Mount Vernon, we want to do that. And we want to take then those delivery drivers that may be working over the next couple of weeks with us, and maybe who knows, maybe they are the next best chefs, or the next best servers, or who knows. And so that's the number to reach Mike or I. You give us a call. We'll try to make something happen. We're hoping that our business grows from here. And then once that train station's back open, you'll definitely see Mike and I outside handing out flyers and gift cards and coupons and everything possible to let people know that we're there. And Mike and I have a couple of secrets that we have up our sleeves once we are actually open. We're not going to disclose them yet, but once the world turns back around and we all get through this, I know Mount Vernon is formed of a whole bunch of really strong people. Once Mount Vernon gets through this, as well as the rest of the county, we'll unveil those other secrets that we have. And I can assure you that 29 Elm will definitely be one of the most talked about places around there. And a lot of it has to do with things that we're going to do in our own space and the things that we're going to be doing with Dwayne as well. So, we're happy to be here. We're happy to help. We're hoping that, everything changes and everybody stays safe, healthy, and we move forward from here.
Yeah,
Great.
Jeremy and I can also be reached at the number that he provided before, as well as individually at our food trucks. I, for one, can be reached at Max Food Truck at 914-469-9112. And that will come right out of 29 Elm as well for pickup or delivery.
So that's great. I mean, gentlemen, someone asked a question online, and they wanted to know, why don't you take your food trucks and take them out in front of the hospital? Are you, I know you usually have to have a permit, and it's maybe a space thing. We need someone to mute their phone. Maybe Hugh Roy, if you mute, I don't know if it's you, or I'm not sure who it is. Okay, there we go. Take it out in front of the hospital or something. So I don't know if that's something that you could do, or if you want to have a conversation, we can put you in touch with the vice president over there. They are working 12 and 18 and, almost sometimes it feels like 24-hour shifts, and they're not able to go out far, and the community's not providing them with lunch every day. So that might be an opportunity for you to kind of get a little bit of visibility. And
Sure.
it's a little bit on a main drag, and maybe we might be able to do something, especially not just for you, but for some of the other food trucks
Sure.
here at City Hall. We used to, on Fridays they would surround City Hall, and that would be, we're right in the center of town, and that could be an opportunity to help some of our businesses get some things off the ground. If we do like a Friday food court or Wednesday and Friday food court, how would we highlight some of our businesses and give them an opportunity to go out and people to come and
Sure.
do a one-stop shop?
Absolutely. So actually, so Mike and I have been putting a lot of thought into this, and it seems as almost every time we plan to go and bring our trucks to a hospital, we have News 12 or one of the local news playing in 29, and we see 300 pizzas delivered and 200 subs, and so we're trying to figure out what's the
How
best
to order it,
way to make it, because
happen.
Right.
in reality we want to be able to help, and I'm sure everyone else here also wants to help too, because I personally know just about everybody in this group, and everyone wants to give and help, and we all want to get through this together and come out with this awesome economy and whole 9 yards. And so Mike and I have talked and tried to figure out how we can get our trucks to the hospital, how we can give out breakfast, coffee, etc.
Let's talk offline after this,
Yeah.
and I'm sure we can connect it, because literally we go there once a week with a different business or entity to help them out.
Absolutely. And Mike and I want to actually chat too after as well about helping some of those non-essential workers that may not have access to some of the funding or the unemployment as well, and try to figure out how we can get them fed too. Mike and I have the resources to feed, 2,200, 2,500 people a day out of our kitchen. If we had, whether it be extra funding from either Mount Vernon or private sources, we want to be able to help get some extra people fed as well. And Mike, I know, has done some extensive research on figuring out how those plans work. I'm sure, obviously, most people here know how some of them work and how these plans are rolling out. So definitely, if we could chat after and figure out how we can get some, non-essential workers fed as well that are struggling through this time. But yeah, no, we definitely want to chat about how we can get the trucks to the hospitals, to the precincts, to the fire departments, everybody who's working 10, 15, 30-hour shifts. I know for sure my brother-in-law works for Emperor's Ambulance, and he
They're
goes
around the
in
clock.
he goes in every day as a scheduled 8-hour shift, and he comes home 16, 17, 18, 20 hours later, literally crawling in through the front door because they have no one else. And, unfortunately, every day is a struggle. So, anything we could do to help, anything we could do to move forward, and bring everybody back together as a community, we want to do. So we appreciate it.
Okay, so I want to segue over to Dwayne Brown. Dwayne, did I lose him just now?
I think
was
he's
just
still here on
on.
my end.
Dwayne, are you here? Okay, so we'll pull him back in once I see his name pop back up. But Dwayne, many of us know him from having D&K events. So look, I took a lot of notes as you were speaking. And yes, when restaurants open again, they can be challenged by occupancy requirements shifting because of kind of social distancing. Like you said, customer service might look a little bit different because people are in masks. There are some people who have said they hated social distancing when it started, but now we've been so focused on social distancing and making sure that we controlled contagion and the spread of this pandemic within our communities, that as much as people want to go back to life as normal, there's a part of them that feels like they not PTSD yet because we're not past it, but they have like a traumatic stress disorder that they're almost afraid. Everyone, look, I want to go back into restaurants, but I don't know if I want to go in if it's crowded. And I want to be able to go to concerts, and I'm a very social person and I want to have community activities, but I don't know how I would feel about doing it if it's crowded and, feeling if it's safe. And so that's definitely something that we're going to have to look at for businesses. We're looking at it, if we're to do summer camp, what does that look like here in the city? If we're doing after school, if we're going to do, summer arts breeze concerts on the plaza of City Hall, what would that look like? And how do we help make people feel comfortable about coming back into the community again? And how do we, really just survive this process of what people talk about opening up? We are still seeing an increase in numbers of people being exposed, people who are testing positive, and we just opened up a testing center. So we know here in Mount Vernon that we're not past this. We know that we're not past it, but we definitely are ready to look at minimizing people's exposure, but also how do we get our economy back on? Because with the summer coming, with it being warm outside, it's going to be really hard to keep people in, and the more people are not making money, then we're going to deal with potential crime waves. So it's a challenge. I see Dwayne Brown is back, so we want to grab Dwayne and pull him into this conversation. Dwayne, please introduce yourself and tell us how's D&K events and Double Doors doing during this COVID season right now.
I mean, it's tough. We just opened up in October, so yeah, my family, my wife, and our team that put that together, we didn't see this coming, obviously, but I mean, it is what it is. For us, I have a daughter who's a nurse, and I have a mother-in-law who's a nurse, so I kind of worry more about them than worry about Double Door. We're gonna be okay. So my mind is really focused on my community and how can I help, and helping these other businesses while they're able to run. How can I help them push? That way, at least somebody's up, and by the time I'm ready to open up again, they're there to help me because we're just helping each other. So I'm really focused on helping my community, making sure that those who can have the opportunity have it. This is when it's your time world, and I truly believe in that. So, for me, it's just being as positive as possible in the situation.
So I can tell you here in the city of Mount Vernon, we are working through our urban renewal agency, which, has a small business and economic development arm to see how we can secure some funding to help some of our local businesses and do this through an application process. We have not hammered it all out. We are also waiting on some allocations, hopefully some COVID relief to come federally to our local community, so that we can put things out for our community. But I just want you to know that we have not forgotten you. Mount Vernon as a government, just like your business has been hit, we're being hit. No sales tax, no parking revenue, and dealing with a lot of homeowners and business owners who are worrying about paying their commercial and their business taxes as well. And that is the lion's share of our revenue here as a city. So the government is impacted, our businesses are impacted, public industry, private industry, our faith-based community is definitely impacted. So it's definitely about working together to find creative solutions. As I've always said, it's not about I and me, it's about we and us. Because if one business succeeds and all of the other businesses fail, that's not going to work for the community. So we have to come together as a community and find ways. There might even be purchasing co-ops and shared staff. I come from the not-for-profit background. So in the not-for-profit background, oftentimes you don't have the capacity to hire a full-time person that you might need. You might need a bookkeeper, but you don't have enough to hire a full-time bookkeeper. So I'll work with several agencies to share a bookkeeper. And I think this is something that even our business community might have to look at: shared services and some purchasing cooperatives and just different things as you're building back up. And so I would really love to continue to expand this conversation and bring us together, not necessarily on a public Zoom, but on a private Zoom, so we can pull in more of our businesses and talk about how we can work together, how the restaurant and the entertainment industry can help one another, financial management and services. How are we working with our banks, reaching out, like you said, to our smaller local banks? Look, Chase is great and Wells Fargo is great, but as a smaller business and having run a smaller business for years, I know that it was easier to access loans through a Westchester Bank, through a PCSB, through an Orange, through a Hudson Valley, and banks like that, because the bigger banks, they don't necessarily have a community presence. I'm not knocking the big banks, but when you're talking about smaller businesses, oftentimes they're a little more user-friendly than your much larger multinational banks and lending institutions. So I think we will definitely, I know that we are putting together some webinars and that we will be having some crucial conversations and providing webinar-based training and learning opportunities for our business community, so that we are getting to you the resources and the information that you need, so that our community as a whole can recover. You are hiring people from Mount Vernon, you are serving people in Mount Vernon, the tax revenue is helping to benefit this community. And so it's imperative that we just really all truly work together. So we are kind of at the end of our time. I know this time went by quickly, and I just want to go back as we starting with Tony and then going to Hugh Roy and Sandra, and we're just going to go back through that. If you could just have some closing remarks, and we're taking notes. So if you have some closing remarks as you speak to the regular community and some of the business community, because we're going to share this with our business community so that they understand the type of conversations we're having. So Tony, if you can jump in and start, and if you have any closing remarks.
Well, my only remarks would be is that when we do eventually get the green light to open up from the state, that we're not stipulated to, we say, two different set of rules. We don't want the city of Mount Vernon telling us one thing and the state telling us something different as far as how to operate. I think it would be very helpful if we have one set of guidelines. I know in my other restaurant that there's sometimes a lot of confusion because there's two, the laws of Manhattan are not the laws of Westchester.
Right.
So there's different guidelines. So if we are going to open back up, we don't want to be getting, violations or to be, doing the wrong thing based on not having the proper information. So I would put the onus on the city to, as soon as you guys get the guidelines, you send them out on Facebook, letter format, and post them along local businesses, so we all know the conditions that everybody has to abide by in this district. Because what happens down in Manhattan is completely different than what happens up here or in the Bronx or whatever. So I just think if we're all on the same playing field, we should all play by the same rules in this district. That would be my advice.
Absolutely. And I just have to say that Tony serves up some of the best Brussels sprouts in the region. That's one of my favorite dishes from over there at Maggie's, and I will be over to get some before the week is out, as well as a few other orders. But thank you so much, Tony, for who you've always been and how Maggie's has always served our community. And we definitely are looking forward to the restaurant open, especially that rooftop, because I think everyone really has a need to just get out and have some fun. I think that's why Zoom has become so popular, because you don't get to see many people any longer, especially if you're working in an office. So this has become a really good platform, and we're going to be okay, and we're going to come back stronger. I'm confident. We are receiving calls every day still from people who are interested in investing in Mount Vernon. And so the good things that they saw started, they know will continue. And I'm just really I'm happy to have tremendous partners like each of you here. So I want to pull you in, Miss Sandra from Golden Crust. Can you just share any parting words with us today?
Well, I'm thankful for this meeting. This has been very enlightening to me. I noticed that we are having problems with the virus, but this brings the community closer together. Absolutely. And that we are appreciative of. A lot of people are kinder to people, although they're under the mask. They are trying to find out if you're okay. People are coming in to check on each other, and that's a good thing.
Well, thank you, Sandra. And my dish over there are definitely the spinach patties. Best spinach patties. If you like spinach patties, you got to go over to Golden Crust. They have them. They're hot. They're good, and they're always made fresh. And so,
thank you.
Thank you, Miss Sandra. And so, Hugh Roy, you have any parting thoughts for us?
Wow, putting me on the spot again. I'm very distracted over here. Very, 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 very distracted.
I'm coming over there to get some of that soup tonight. Hopefully, you haven't run out yet. So
Ito stew is here.
Okay.
As usual, the soup is here. But yeah, so far, what I want to say, as far as the parting words is concerned, Mount Vernon so far is doing tremendous as far as this whole COVID process is, we're going through. I'm kind of nervous and lost for word, but anyways, you're doing a wonderful job, and we're looking forward to do more future business with you. All right. So as far as getting nervous again and lost for words, when you come by, we'll make sure you have your meal. And for the rest of the community, essential workers, you can come out and we'll definitely take care of you any time of the day that you come here.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And, I'm coming over to get some stew after I get over here. So I'll get over there at about 8:15.
Definitely. See you when you get here.
I'm coming tonight. And Jeremy and Mike, just before we go here, just quick parting thoughts.
Sure. So I'm going to let Mike talk about 29 Elm, but Mayor, I just wanted to thank you for jumping on the Zoom call with us, and I appreciate your time. And it's actually really funny because my wife said the other day when she saw you on News 12 how the mayor of Mount Vernon is able to get stuff done, and sure enough, being able to jump on a call like this, it seems like your stuff and you're the real deal. So we appreciate being able to work in your city. We appreciate everything you're doing. We hope that we all make it through this safely. thank you. I'll let Mike just say last closing remarks, but I want to thank you myself. So thank you. Stay safe, stay well. Everybody here, thank you too, and stay well. We hope we all get through this.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Jeremy. So Mike.
Yeah, I really, I want to echo what Jeremy is saying and what everyone is saying here together. The best shot we've got is to stick together and
Absolutely.
face this head on together. That being said, we are going to do our best to make it through and hopefully have some of the following and the recognition within the community as we are here a little bit longer as a business. But if anybody's hungry, 29 Elm Avenue is open. We can be reached either via Uber or calling us. Again, the central phone number for 29 Elm is 914-265-6240. You can reach Waffle Box at 914-826-9016. And of course, if you want some good home Italian cooking, you can reach Max Food Truck at 914-469-9112. Thank you very much. Be safe and be well.
And I just have to give a shout out because they're on here looking tonight to Max Sports. They definitely dropped off some PPEs to our first responders the other day. They dropped off some masks. So different businesses are doing different things to support community efforts and to hold our community together. So what is, meatball? Okay, yes, I'm coming. You're inboxing me. You're seducing me with really good food.
You know what our two signature dishes were. I mean, there was no way I was letting Nicole go through. I mean, I've tried some of Hero's food and some of everyone else's food on here. But I had to let them know since we didn't have a proper grand opening yet, and we know we will, and we're going to invite every restaurant in Mount Vernon there. But we had to let you know that our meatball.
So they said meatball parmesan and chicken and waffles at 29 Elm. So we're going to take it out there. Look, since we know some things are going to be happening, one of the things that I want to do is just like we usually have the big car shows in Fleetwood and down at Memorial Field. What I want to do is I want us to kind of shut down the streets and, from Gramerton straight down through 4th Avenue, just open it up and have our restaurants really showcase and provide opportunities. And maybe, we can do things in different spaces. We can set up tables where people can come and buy wherever they want to buy at the different, stands. And then we can open up some of our big parking lots like 5th Avenue and 2nd Street and different places so that people can have big outdoor eating experiences, but they can have a taste of Mount Vernon. We have to find some creative ways to do it. I'm excited. Dwayne, I know Dwayne is going to help me do it.
And we get started indoors at Dwayne's catering hall. We could go through and visit everyone's restaurant down the streets and everyone that's on here and most importantly end up at Tony's place and end up on the rooftop on one of these nice days. So we definitely should sit down, figure out the best way to get everybody in Mount Vernon, especially those who weren't able to jump on the Zoom call tonight, whether they were busy, not busy, spending time with family, doing homework, whatever they were doing. Definitely want to help out and do our best.
Absolutely.
Out here. I feel like I made friends on here. People are messaging me on Facebook that I've never seen before. So like we all
it works.
Yeah, we all lend a helping hand. We can all help out our community, bring everybody together. And look, at the end of this, we all want to stay healthy, safe, get through this and have a thriving economy. And what better place to do it than in Mount Vernon? And we have an amazing mayor here to help us. So.
Oh, thank you so much. You're too kind. And so Malcolm is inboxing me, Hugh Roy, just to let me know. He's hitting me in the chat privately that he wants a piece of carrot cake. So I'll be coming over there to order a piece of carrot cake. You're out of it?
We're out of.
You're out of the carrot cake.
We have sweet potato pudding. freshly baked.
Whoa.
So if you want sweet potato pudding, Malcolm, you're welcome.
Okay, okay. I'll work with them. I'll work with them on that. And so,
Great.
Dwayne, if you could just close us out. And again, I just want you to know that Mount Vernon is working to identify and set aside some funds for our small businesses and to help. You know, we have some other philanthropists, hopefully, who will be coming online, but we are reaching out and we are speaking to people because we want to help take care of our businesses. We want to make sure that we're helping some of our residents who are struggling with rent, those people who are working at cash paying businesses like hairdressers, nail salons. Look, it's a crisis because my nail is gone right now. So, you know, it's been a month and the gray is growing in. You know, everyone is saying, oh, well, you're the mayor, you're not impacted by it. Look, you know, the gray is here, the nail is gone, and we want businesses to open up, but we want to make sure that as we do this and we reopen our community, that we're doing it in a way that's safe, and that we're not just turning around in another few months and shutting the community down again because we haven't opened back up the proper way. So Dwayne, can you close us out tonight? And thank you everyone for being on. Thank you everyone for watching. And let's work together and get it done.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Thanks for this opportunity with everybody. You know, we're one town, we're one city. Our restaurant business is important. Our manufacturing business is important. Our barbershops and nail salons. A former chamber president, I have a unique that I interact with a lot of different people, you know, over the last few years. So I know the impact they all face, and so I wish them all luck. And we'll get through this. We're one town, and we're gonna, like you said, you hashtag us Jeweler Westchester, and after this, we're gonna prove that's what we are. So we look forward to what we have going on at 29 with me upstairs, Mac and Jeremy downstairs, the brewery in the back, and just the development of that whole area over the next 3 or 4 years. That area is really going to be the talk of Westchester. I promise you that. It's going to be on and popping. So, you know, good night. I will see you tomorrow because, you know, we have shout out to our recreation department. I have a true love of our city, and I'll see everybody. Pray everybody get through this. We out.
Everyone take care. Thank you so much. And we will be in contact with you in the next few days so that we can really start to rev up this conversation and move it forward and pull everyone to the table or to the conference call or to the that we have to do. So thank you once again and have a good evening, everyone. Good night.
Excellent. Thank you.